Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Okay, today's video is gonna be a very heavy one, but I think it is very important for me to make. And I've been sitting on this for a couple days and I've been going back and forth on how I wanted to approach this, how I wanted to film it, and kind of when I wanted to do that. And I think there's no better time than now, considering how topical it is with Jeffree Star trying to come back and pander towards the YouTube audience again. And I just think it's about time that we cut the BS and we actually talk about what's going on here. And no one really else is. I don't know why people are not necessarily talking about this huge topic to do with Jeffree when we should be. And I remember covering this on my YouTube channel a couple years ago whenever this first dropped. And I remember people, not all, but some people covered it back then because a lot of people really pandered towards Jeffree Star. And, you know, there never really was, in my opinion, such thing as like a paywall, or not a paywall. Is that what it's called? You know, whenever people are like, you're on the paywall, or maybe it is that, whatever I'm thinking of, where it's like these people pay off. Like people say that Trisha used to pay me off. They say Ethan used to pay me off, which is hysterical. Oh my goodness. Haven't made a video on him in a while, but y'all been seeing what's going on over at H3? Oof. We'll not talk about that today, but oof. So, yeah, people would say that, like, these creators will be paying you off and stuff, and I just thought that it was incredibly ironic. But a lot of people thought this about Jeffree, and even I would start to believe it because so many people refuse to acknowledge all these allegations against Jeffree. Now, as we know, Jeffree Star went on the Cancel podcast and went on the Just Trish podcast. The Cancel podcast came out. I did an entire reaction to it. It was actually my last video I posted. It's a long-ass video. I went through the entire thing. I genuinely think it is one of the worst things I have ever watched, and that is not just me being a hater. Jeffree's like wishing death on Taddy Westbrook. He's making fun of Susan, the old CEO of YouTube's passing. He just comes across as an incredibly negative, dark person. And it was exactly how I thought the podcast was going to go. Now, I expressed my concerns because none other than Trishy Fishy announced that she also had Jeffree on. Now, I said that I thought that this was going to end badly because Trisha is in such a different place, even just in her career right now with Just Trish, that welcoming that back into your life and back into your energy and back into your career, it just seemed like such a bad move. Now, I don't even know how to like make this like next step because people, when it comes to Jeffree Star, will focus on the fact that people will call him racist. And in my video, I was like, y'all, Jeffree Star is that and so much more as well. Like, he has so many allegations and he kind of loosely addressed them or kind of like walked around them in the Cancel podcast. And I think we should dive back into them. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you that I'm going on tour in February, the Chronically Online tour. These are the dates that are up right now. Also, I have been saying that we are going to be adding other shows, and they are coming. There's a bunch of US shows coming, but if you're in the UK or Australia, we are planning on adding dates for you as well. So if you're watching this from the UK right now, comment below cities that you think I should come to. If you're watching this from Australia, which a huge chunk of my audience are, good day. That was an awful accent. Good day, mate. I'll try my best. I'll work on it. I am planning on coming out to all of you between like March and summer. So I can't wait to see all the UK people. I can't wait to see all the Australia people. America, we are going to be doing the 5 shows in February. So Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, LA, and Dallas. There's very limited tickets for Chicago and LA. And there's tickets available for the other shows. Please come out. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to meet everyone. And then we're going to be rerouting back to America in summer. We're going to be doing a shit ton more shows in completely different cities. And I don't think we're going to come back to these ones. We're going to do other ones. So if you are in these ones, this is your chance. I recently went to Grace and Mamrie's show. Let me really quickly pull that up. Grace Helbig, Mamrie Hart, they did a show in London, literally like yesterday. and I got to go backstage and meet them. I had Grace Helbig on the podcast. Love her. Mamrie Hart, it was my first time meeting her. She was so beyond kind, like so beyond kind. And the show was so funny, and being in like a YouTuber show environment, specifically in the UK, is something that was so shocking to me because it's so like Americanized to me. I also have this meet and greet photo, which is so funny because we did the show, the first one, where I went backstage and hung out with them. And then at the other show, I went with my friend Neve and we had meet and greet. And I just love this, the two versions, the two different hugs, like this such warm embrace of me and Grace just being like, hey. But their show was so amazing. And being in that environment in a London theater and knowing that I'll be able to do that with the Muckers as well. I'm just really excited. I'm really fucking excited to meet everyone. I'm really excited to put on a bizarre ass show. So again, if you are in those cities, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, LA, Dallas, please get your tickets. They'll be linked down below. I promise you it'll be worth it. And for everyone else, there are going to be so many other cities and countries added, so do not worry about it. Also, my second channel is linked down below. I have been vlogging every single day over there, and it has been a lot of fun. But anyways, let's get to this. So, Jeffree, and let me put my fan on because I feel like I'm gonna get heated. So, Jeffree. In the podcast, the Cancel podcast, he talked about the fact that when he gets too successful, people have to take him down. And he talked about being really badly cancelled in 2020, 2021. And Tana's like, well, why, Jeffree? Well, why? And he's like, because people hate to see a bad bitch win. People hate to see a bad bitch win. And it's so funny because in 2020, not only were Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star going through the biggest cancellation of their entire life for all of their old problematic content resurfacing, but something that people don't talk about enough is that Jeffree Star was also facing a whirlwind of accusations from SA to physical violence to hush money allegations. And people really don't talk about this at all. And I think it got really swept under the rug of Shane Dawson's cancellation and the fact that people are re-platforming Jeffree again. But furthermore, that Jeffree wants to rewrite this history of people were just canceling me because they love me. Let's revisit what was going on during that time. This article was written by none other than Kat Tembarge when she was at Business Insider. And she said the following. So we're going to get to the article, but let's read the tweets first. So she said, Jeffree Star is trying to make a comeback off mascara drama and claiming the Hollywood elite destroyed him in 2020, which is literally what he was also saying in the Cancel podcast, when in reality, he paid an SA accuser $45,000 in hush money that year and pushed his SA allegations under the rug. Jeffree tweeted, in 2022, anyone who challenges the system gets eliminated. In 2020, I was going to expose everything. In a matter of days, the Hollywood elite tried to ruin my career, villainize me, and flooded the news with lies to discredit me. You guys only knew the truth about what they're doing with Britney and Kanye. What a crazy year. I escaped the Illuminati in 2021, and they still haven't killed me. Every day I wake up grateful. Bum, bum, bum. Womp womp. So we're going to go through this article, but here we're seeing alleged hush money and alleged signatures accepted this day, the 25th of September, 2020. So let's get to the article since Jeffree likes to really rewrite history, shall we? Because I'm gonna. I think it's ironic that people want to platform him and hide behind, oh, people just hate you because they're obsessed with you. Nah. Jeffree Star accusers say the makeup mogul has a history of SA, physical violence, and hush money offers. An article written by Kat Tembarge, then formerly of Business Insider. All right, here we see a bunch of photos of Jeffree. All right. So I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to do the subheadings. I'm just going to read it. Makeup mogul Jeffree Star is one of YouTube's biggest celebrities. Androgynous, with cotton candy wigs and head-to-toe tattoos, he's leveraged his, ability for stirring YouTube drama into a multi-million-dollar cosmetics brand and amassed 40 million social media followers, many of them teenagers. They avidly consume his makeup product reviews and tours of his $14.6 million hidden mansion in California, and have helped him launch, the status as one of YouTube's top 5 earners with an estimated $17.5 million in revenue from the platform in 2019, according to Forbes. But Jeffree Star, now 34, built his beauty empire out of the success of an earlier career as an electropop musician during the internet's MySpace era in the late 2000s. He was known back then as a scene fixture whose merchandise appeared in Hot Topic stores and who performed at the Warped Tour concert series. The online persona Star curated during that phase of his career in his early 20s was shocking and violent at times, with public videos of groping episodes and racist outbursts. An insider investigation suggests that it wasn't all an act. Several former associates say that Jeffree Star engaged in violent and abusive behavior on multiple occasions during the late 2000s, including multiple allegations of SA. 4 people who spoke with Insider say that Jeffree Star groped men around him without consent. 5 people told Insider they personally saw Jeffree Star using a close-range stun gun or other tasing devices to hurt and intimidate people around him. And 5 people told Insider that in 2009, Jeffree Star used a taser on a homeless teenager who had rejected his affections in a movie theater. Sit with all that info for a second. Sit with it. Sit with it. It's a lot. Sit with it. That teen later stayed the night in Jeffree Star's apartment and told Insider that Jeffree Star gave him Ambien until he was intoxicated and forcibly performed oral sex on him without his consent. Several people and publicly available internet posts corroborate key components of the former homeless teen's account. In several letters to Insider, Jeffree Star's attorney denied allegations of physical and sexual violence and questioned the reliability of Insider's sources. After Insider detailed the allegations to Star and his attorney, several people who had made on-the-record claims about Jeffree Star's conduct contacted Insider to change their stories. Let's read that from the top. After Insider detailed the allegations to Jeffree Star and his attorney, several people who were on the record with Jeffree Star's, talking about his conduct, contacted Insider to change their stories. Insider obtained text messages showing 2 of the on-the-record sources for this article discussing what they said was a $10,000 offer from Jeffree Star to recant their allegations. One accuser and 2 claimed witnesses, all of whom had provided on-the-record accounts to Insider in which they said they saw or experienced Jeffree Star engaging in violence, ultimately did change their story. While he's addressed racism in the past, Jeffree Star has yet to reckon with the accusations of physical violence. Jeffree Star, whose real name is Jeffrey Lynn, had previously faced waves of backlash over the racist persona he crafted to attract attention on MySpace and the late 2000s live streaming platform Stick'em. Starting about 2004, the year Jeffree Star turned 18, he began appearing in video footage online that showed him assailing people on public streets, sometimes holding a yellow self-defense spray canister and yelling the N-word at passerbys. Of course. Other clips from his MySpace era show Jeffree Star mocking black women during comedic skits, at one point suggesting that he'd pour battery acid on a black woman to lighten her skin. Sit with that info for a second. Jeffree Star often instigated public fights on camera, confronting strangers with racist and sexist slurs. He acknowledged some of these in a 2017 apology video called Racism, where he served face in the fucking thumbnail. In one wildly circulated clip, Jeffree Star appears to grope a man's penis on a 2009 Warped Tour stop. In a letter to Insider, Jeffree Star's attorney said the video was of Jeffree Star and a friend jokingly touching one another, which was then uploaded to Jeffree Star's YouTube channel purely for entertainment. In the clip, the man pushes Jeffree Star's hand away when he reaches down to grope him, and Jeffree Star walks away saying, "I knew it was big." I've seen him grope both guys and girls. Zach Neal, a longtime former Warped Tour stage manager, told Insider. I don't think anyone that has seen him in concert has seen that. Or I think anyone that has seen him in concert has seen that. Even worse than what I just said. That's just a part of his thing. Feeling people up and groping people, ass slapping, dick grabbing. That's all part of his thing. People told Insider that Jeffree Star was violent when his sexual and romantic advances were not reciprocated. In 2008, Gage Arthur was a 17-year-old in Austin, Texas, with dreams of becoming famous on the internet. He began building a fan base on MySpace and Stick'em. That year, Arthur's roommate, also a Stick'em entertainer, invited a friend from LA to visit their apartment in Austin, Jeffree Star. Over the course of 4 interviews with Insider that took place during this summer, Arthur said Jeffree Star sexually pursued him soon after meeting him, starting at that Austin apartment, even though Arthur identifies as straight. Which, just to add another layer to this, what does Jeffree Star say about James Charles? Even in that last cancelled podcast? He said he was pursuing straight men. Moving along. In 2009, Arthur moved to Los Angeles to join his more internet famous peers. Once he arrived, he struggled with homelessness and spent time couch surfing with friends. In November 2009, a little over a year after their first meeting, Arthur said that Jeffree Star invited him to stay at his apartment and the two shared Jeffree Star's bed. On November 11th, 2009, the first night that Arthur was to crash at Jeffree Star's place, according to public social media posts, Arthur and Star went to see a movie with 2 friends. During the film, Arthur said that Star tried to hold his hand, but Arthur resisted. According to Arthur, Star attacked him with a taser in the theater parking lot after the movie in retaliation. That night, Arthur told Insider Star gave him Ambien pills until he was intoxicated and then performed non-consensual oral sex on him. Sit with that info a second. There's a lot of info here. I don't want to quickly move past things, but there's just so much to get to. Just sit with that info. But yeah, cancel culture, Jeffree, right? And shame on every single person platforming him. Arthur made similar claims when speaking to Christopher Stone, who operates the online gossip blog Sticky Drama. In August, Stone published a post headlined, "At Jeffree Star drugged, tased, and R-worded me," about Arthur and Star's relationship. In it, Arthur repeated the same SA and tasing allegations. Jeffree sucked Gage's under the threats of force and actual use of force, i.e. the taser, as well as Gage's from being on the drugs. Stone wrote, citing his interview with Arthur, Jeffree Star's attorney described the Sticky Drama post to Insider as false and defamatory. Although Stone told Insider that neither Star nor his attorney responded to his own request for comment. More than a month after the post went up, and after Insider asked Star for comment on it, Jeffree Star's attorney sent Stone a cease and desist letter, asking him to take the post down, according to a copy of the letter reviewed by Insider. Star's attorney likewise denied Arthur's claims to Insider, saying Star has never tasered or drugged anyone for sex. 3 weeks after Insider first asked Star for comment on Arthur's claims, Arthur sent a text message to Insider saying, "Hey, his lawyers called me." 5 hours later, he followed up with an email saying, "I'm not sure that I'm remembering stuff correctly, and I may have misinterpreted things, adding, I'm retracting our communications. This was after he messaged Insider saying the lawyer called me. The next day, Star's attorney sent a letter to Insider making clear that he was aware of Arthur's effort to retract the statement. So, the attorney knows that Arthur was retracting the statement. Since then, Insider has obtained text messages written by Arthur in which he told another person contacted by Insider for this story that he had changed his account, and Jeffree Star has agreed to pay you $10,000 if you choose to do the same. Several people corroborated key components of Arthur's initial claims of assault. Before Arthur changed his story, Insider corroborated much of his account with multiple people, including several on-the-record interviews with friends and witnesses. Social media posts referencing the allegations have also been circulated online for the past 10 years. Arthur's former roommate in Austin confirmed to Insider that Arthur was 17 when Star first visited the apartment they shared, and he verified Stickum footage depicting the three men together during Star's trip. The footage shows Star kissing Arthur for about 25 seconds. Jeffree Star would have been 22 at the time, and Arthur would have been 17, and here we see that. Some of the events surrounding Star and Arthur's trip to the movies on November 11th, 2009, when Arthur was 19, and Arthur's subsequent stay at Star's apartment were publicly documented on Twitter. So, footage from the late 2000s livestream platform Stickum appears to show what sources say is Star kissing a 17-year-old. So, allegedly 17 there. On the night Arthur would sleep over at Star's apartment, they went to see The Box with two friends. That night, early in the morning of November 11th, Jeffree Star posted on Twitter that he was going to the movies with Arthur and two other friends. In the morning, he posted a selfie with Arthur, captioning it, "Just waking up." Jeffree Star deleted the first of those two tweets in September 2020, after Insider requested a comment on them. So Jeffree then starts deleting all the proof. Here we see Jeffree's tweet, going to the movies with Stephen, Anthony, and Gage Arthur. One member of the party who spoke with Insider on condition of being anonymous for fear of legal and professional repercussions, but whose identity is known to Insider, said Jeffree Star tried to hold Arthur's hand and leaned on him while watching the movie. The person also said that Star said he wanted to fuck Gage that night. When Arthur failed to respond to Star's affection, the person said, Star got up and walked out of the theater. When the group followed Star into the parking lot, the person added, Star chased Arthur around the car and used a tasing device on him. In a letter to Insider, Jeffree Star's attorney denied that Star used a taser that night, but several people told Insider that Jeffree Star regularly used electroshock tasing devices to hurt others. Neil, the Warped Tour stage manager, recalled to Insider that Jeffree Star caused problems on one summer tour between 2008 and 2010 with his use of a stun gun. He came around a friend of mine and myself one morning on Warped Tour, and he was super stressed out. He said people were gay bashing him on the tour. Neil told Insider, my buddy gave him a stun gun and said, listen, if anyone really tries to beat you up, you can use this and you can defend yourself. And then we got called into production offices by the owner of the tour the next day. Apparently, he was just going around stunning everyone. Star tweeted a photo of himself with Gage Arthur on November 11th, 2009. And then we're seeing the caption, just waking up. Two people contacted by Insider said Arthur told them that Jeffree Star had essayed them. Chris Wallen, who was once Arthur's roommate, said Arthur told him in late 2009 or early 2010 that Star had provided him with Ambien pills that night, causing Arthur to become groggy. Wallen also told Wallen said Arthur told him that Star threatened him with the taser and performed oral sex on him without his consent. According to Wallen, Arthur told him that once they were all messed up, Jeffree had gotten flirtatious and tried fooling around with him. Gage was kind of standoffish because, to my knowledge, he's straight. Jeffree had pulled out a taser and, to be blunt, said, "You're going to let me suck your dick or I'm going to tase you." He told me, he didn't go into details, but said that out of fear, he let it happen. Another friend of Arthur's, who goes by Eden Shizzle and went by Eden Hilton at the time, told Insider that he picked up Arthur from Star's apartment in 2009 and that Arthur told him that at the time that Jeffree Star had SA'd him. He said Jeffree wanted to hook up with him, and knowing Gage, he said something like, "No, I'm good." Shizzle told Insider. Gage was very adamant that he wasn't okay with it and said that he got tased and was told to leave. In an effort to cast doubt on Arthur's credibility, Jeffree Star's attorney provided Insider with a statement from Amore Hilton, a former MySpace celebrity who describes herself as Arthur's best friend. In the statement, Hilton says Arthur's allegations about Star are false and that Arthur previously told her that if she talked to Insider and supported him, he would take care of me later if he received a monetary settlement from Mr. Star. In an interview with Insider, Hilton said that Arthur and Star definitely had hooked up quite a few times and that she had dropped off and picked Arthur up from Star's apartment on multiple occasions, but she ridiculed that idea that Star could have ever essayed another man. Gage is the exact same height and the exact same width as Jeffree is, and there's no way that he could be R-worded. She said, "Come on, dude, grow the fuck up." That's the one who's on Jeffree's side defending him. Said that. Sit with that a second. That's an actual thing said in order to defend Jeffree. Sit with that. How is this getting worse? Hilton, who said she is the niece of porn star Ron Jeremy, placed Arthur's accusations in the context of the #MeToo era, when an increasing number of people are coming forward to tell stories of SA that she regards as dubious. All these accusations are coming out because it's 2020. She said, my uncle Ron Jeremy, he's going through the same shit right now. The Los Angeles County District Attorney has charged Jeremy with R-wording 3 women and essaying another 17, including one as young as 15. He's pleaded not guilty. So the person defending Jeffree is saying it's all about me too. My uncle is going through the same thing. Meanwhile, accusations of R-wording 3 women and essaying another 17 at the time of this article. But yeah, cancel culture and Me Too movement. When Jeffree Star toured as an electropop musician, accusers say that groping and touching without consent were common. Insider spoke with other people who reported that Jeffree Star had groped them or they had seen Jeffree Star grope others without permission. On May 19, 2007, Jeffree Star performed at a venue called Bidos Pizzeria in Anchorage, Alaska. There, Britton Schra, who just turned 18, said that Jeffree Star groped him before his performance began. Stra, who worked sound and other production roles at Bidos, said that he was wearing spandex shorts that night. Stra said the venue's owner introduced him to Star and made a comment to Star about about the shorts that Stra was wearing. After which Stra said Jeffree reached down and groped his genitals. I was just kind of shocked. Stra told Insider, "After a while, it dawned on me that it was pretty fucked up. When the Me Too stuff started happening, all these things that seemed to be smaller transgressions were coming out, and I was like, whoa, wait a second, I was also assaulted. It just never really clicked." And by the way, victims are never under a time in which they have to speak out, or a time in which they speak out for it to be valid, and if you think that way, absolutely fuck you. Stra said he used humor to deflect from the discomfort of the situation. His childhood best friend, Scott Thorpe, who was also working for Bidos that night, told Insider he remembers Stra joking about what happened. Britt expressed that happened, and I remember thinking that was part of the energy of the show. Thorpe told Insider, "I remember people getting groped on stage during that show in a way I kind of just thought, well, this is just the way these kind of things are. I'm in a different place now in understanding what's a consensual touch." Here we see Jeffree performing in Manchester, dear God, in 2007. But while he coped with what happened through humor at the time, Stra told Insider that the memory of the encounter has stayed as Jeffree's celebrity has increased. Not only that, but as Jeffree goes on preaching cancel culture about people trying to call him out for things. Since he's created his makeup brand and gotten big on YouTube, especially with the community that I'm directly in, I see his face everywhere, Straw said, referring to the drag community. You can imagine that that's very unpleasant. To have all these companies try to sell you your abuser is very uncomfortable. Star's attorney denied that Star groped Straw, writing, because apparently they were there, writing The Insider that Mr. Straw used this same fabricated story 6 years ago to try and extort money from Mr. Star. Star's legal team did not provide evidence of Straw's attempt to extort money from Jeffree Star, and Straw denied that he ever contacted Jeffree Star in the pursuit of money. Straw shared screenshots of his DMs to Star over the years with Insider, which contain unanswered messages such as, "Hey Jeffree, I really don't want to have to call you out in public, but your lack of response is kind of telling. Please, I'm asking you as a human being who you violently groped in public, please respond to me." Now, the Warped Tour stage manager told Insider that he believed Jeffree's rise as a musician stemmed from the environment that sexualized young fans, many of whom were underage. Nell said he personally witnessed Star grope both guys and girls on stage and described one of Star's shticks as pulling his young-looking fans on stage for sexually charged encounters. Things like three-way kissing and feeling each other up. It was the reason we never booked him again, Neil said. We used to book him at various venues in the Northeast, and someone who worked with me used to book him at tours and shows. Once I became aware of that behavior, that was it. I didn't want anything to do with Jeffree. Jeffree Star often takes fights to the internet, where he uses his large fan base to bully and intimidate accusers. Jeffree Star owes fame to the internet. And one person who crossed paths with him online told Insider that he enthusiastically used his celebrity to direct visceral hate towards her. Chris Avery Bennett, who ran a gay rights MySpace page and blog as a teenager, told Insider that her first adverse experience with Star was receiving an anonymous email with a picture of a penis, which Bennett believes was Jeffree Star's. Later, she said, he unleashed a campaign of digital abuse that had real-world consequences for her. Bennett, who's transgender and used male pronouns at the time, said she had interacted with Star through an online circle of largely LGBTQ+ MySpace users. Bennett said she was 15 when she received an email to her now-deleted AOL account that contained the nude image, and she noticed the ice cream cone tattoo that seemed to be the same one that Jeffree has on his finger. Bennett told Insider that she never responded to the email, but later in 2009 reached out on a public MySpace wall to ask Star to share a story of empowerment on her gay rights page. He replied saying, "You're fucking disgusting and no one will ever take you seriously. Stop calling yourself fierce." Bennett said, and it turned into an all-out war, like an absolute all-out war. Bennett said that Star's tirade, which was publicly visible on MySpace, ended up flooding her social media profiles with harassment from Jeffree Star's fans, which we've seen him do before. She said that online abuse contributed to an attempt that she did and subsequent inpatient treatment. Insider reviewed medical documentation from Bennett's inpatient therapy program in 2010. None of the MySpace posts or comments between Star and Bennett are available for Insider to review, and there is no record of them stored on the internet's archive Wayback Machine. But the online archive did store a version of Bennett's second MySpace profile, which she created after deleting her first one in 2009, and which features a section called "Why Jeffree Star Messed Up," referencing multiple allegations. Jeffree Star was my first bully, my first real bully, and my first abuser. Bennett told Insider, "Jeffree's a bully, but the way that Jeffree does things goes far and beyond and turns into actual abuse and harm." In a letter to Insider, Star's attorney denied that Star sent a nude photo to Bennett. Mr. Star has never sent a picture of his penis to anyone. The letter read, adding that Bennett did not identify the additional tattoos on Star's hand he said would have been visible in the photos. People say Star offered witnesses money to recant their allegations about him, and 3 of them changed their stories. Before the publication of this article, Arthur approached Bennett on Facebook Messenger. So Bennett, who we just read about, Arthur originally. According to screenshots reviewed by Insider, according to Bennett, the two have never spoken or met before. Arthur had first approached Insider himself in July to share his own accusations of battery and SA against Jeffree Star. accusations that he submitted in writing to Insider's tip line and elaborated on in interviews. Gage Arthur sent this message to Chris Avery Bennett days before the Insider article was published, after communicating with Star's lawyers. Let's read it. The events I had discussed with Business Insider were from many years ago. I'm not sure I'm remembering things correctly, and I may have misinterpreted things. I've decided to retract my communications to Business Insider and told them they don't have any authority to publish anything I discuss with them. To resolve all this, Jeffree Star has agreed to pay you $10,000 if you also choose to do the same. Send a number and I'll send it over if you want. Sit with this for a moment. Bennett told Insider she refused the attempt to pay $10,000 for my silence. Two other sources who also previously told Insider on the record that they had witnessed physical violence by Jeffree Star also subsequently changed their stories after Arthur changed his. 4 hours before sending an email attempting to retract his allegations, one of those people sent text messages to an Insider reporter that said, Gage approached me at midnight with some sort of explanation and deal that I didn't see until this morning. The person then wrote, I'm sure you won't hear from him again, and then added the $sign. Jeffree Star attorney declined to answer questions about whether Jeffree Star had offered payments to anyone. Jeffree Star's attorney declined to answer questions whether Jeffree offered money to people. Before receiving Arthur's offer, Bennett had told Insider, Jeffree's never hidden any of this. The only thing he's ever done is shut people up. But what needs to happen is someone needs to speak up and open that door for others to speak up. And I'm not afraid to be that person. Now, going along, we have this follow-up article, right? Jeffree Star's SA accusers were paid $45,000 by a Jeffree Star Cosmetics executive, leaked documents say. So let's scroll down to this. Now we got them receipts, girl. At Jeffree Star paid $45,000 in hush money to R-word accuser. Allegedly. So, about the allegations. Now leaked documents obtained by StickyDrama.com appear to show that Arthur was paid $45,000 in exchange for attempting to retract his allegations and contacting other sources to do the same. StickyDrama.com is a long-time running blog that covers internet celebrities, including Star, who were part of the MySpace and Stickum social media scene. So let's go to this. Settlement payment. Within 2 days... Sorry, let me put this up on the screen. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Within 2 business days of signing this agreement, Mr. Arthur shall be paid $25,000. If Business Insider does not publish the article within three months of the effective date, Mr. Arthur shall receive an additional $25,000 if Insider don't do the article. Anthony Vanity and Danny have also retracted their statements to Business Insider. Mr. Arthur shall receive an additional $10,000 for contacting each of Mr. Vanity and Miss Artaud for a total of an additional $20,000. And then we're seeing a check for alleged $45,000. An image of the cashier's check receipt and an image of the money that was said to have been withdrawn from it. The image of the check says it was purchased by Scott C. Andrews, a man with the same name as the chief financial officer of Jeffree Star Cosmetics. What a coincidence. Jeffree Star's makeup and merchandising company as well. 2017 California state records for the company lists Scott Christopher Andrews as the CFO. Andrews didn't respond to Insider's request for comment. Imagine them paying all this money for the Insider article not to come out just for this to also appear in the Insider article. Bonk. Bonk. The image of the settlement agreement, which does not include the whole document or signature page, appears to show the conditions for the payment. Insider also reviewed what StickyDrama.com says is the full settlement agreement, which includes what appears to be Jeffree Star's signature. Gage Arthur sent these messages to Chris Avery Bennett. Don't say anything, just send me a link to profile if you find them on Facebook, and it's a bunch of information about retracting. So let's just leave this on the screen. Well, Jeffree defenders, and those who want to platform Jeffree Star, if you knowingly do so, you are a terrible person. This is so much deeper than the elite tried to kick me out. No. No. I really wanted to do this video. I think it was very important. If you made it this far, this was heavy and this was shocking, but I think that this was necessary. Cat 10 Barge. The work that went into that article is insane. I will see you all in my next one. And Jeffree Star, no, this is not just cancel culture. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. And goodbye.